I'm going to talk to you today about my ultimate sleeper guitar, the Squier Fender Mustang Bullet HH. This is actually a really killer guitar. I bought it used, but this plastic is peeling, so I'm going to strip it off today on camera. Eventually I'll have to get a screwdriver to get some of the smaller bits out from under some of the control pieces, like this switch, but it's coming off. It's coming off today. I actually love this Fender free online lesson sticker. I was going to leave it on, but fortunately the plastic is looking just a little bit too ratty these days, so I already pulled the pickup covers off because now it's all clean. A couple key features about this guitar and why I think it's the ultimate sleeper. Besides the fact that I only paid $90 for this, it comes loaded with two humbucking pickups that actually sound pretty good. They're medium hot. They don't have too much output. They're not too muddy. Neck pickup can get a little muddy on some settings, but not any different than a Les Paul, and that might cost a lot more. Some of my favorite features, I really love this switch. Pretty good quality Les Paul style switch, and I like these volume and tone controls. It's very simple and stripped back. So, this guitar is made out of basswood. The reason I say basswood and not basswood is because a bass is a fish and a bass is a guitar, so you call it basswood. I love that it has the 70s style large headstock. Let me take the snark off there for you. So it has this nice big cut, the 70s vintage style. I'm a huge Tom DeLonge fan, and that was what his Strat had. This the satin finish on this neck is really great. It's got a rosewood board. So because this is a Mustang, it's actually short scale. And I was initially confused because the store told me, oh yeah, no, it's a modified thing. It's a Strat scale, so 25.5 from here to here. It's like, sweet, so I'll put it in drop C with skinny top, heavy bottom, and we'll be solid. Well, I get it home, and I take it to my tech. So I was like, oh, let's just have him look at it and see what's up. So one of the things that was immediately obvious is, so these come factory with 9-gauge strings, which are almost impossible to keep in standard tuning on a short scale. So this is only 24-inch from here to here, shorter than a Les Paul scale. What's cool about this guitar, though, because of this scale length and this setup, is it actually gets really good Kurt Cobain tones. It actually gets really good Brand New, the band tones. And it's just in general really good playable instrument. It's got a 12-inch fretboard radius, so Gibson fretboard radius. So I took it in, and what we noticed is because of the 9-gauge strings, the action was super high from the factory because that way it wouldn't buzz out. But it was really hard to keep the low string in tune at that tension. So I swapped this out to skinny top, heavy bottom, originally playing it in drop C and a whole step down. Well, after messing with it some more, I decided to go with standard tuning with a drop D. So, and it sounds really big and mean. And it's got a lot of really good character to it and tone to it. Like I said, I picked this up for $90 used, but it was mint. They're $150 brand new. I think even then it's kind of a steal. Some of these Squier guitars can be hit and miss. So back to my tech. We end up having to straighten out the neck, file down each of the nut slots slightly, and adjust the bridge slightly. But realistically, all that can happen with a normal Fender guitar, either from the Mexican or American factory, or virtually any guitar ever. So no frets were bad. There's no scraping, no rattling. It plays really great. It's very clean sounding. It's very light and small because of the Mustang body and being made of basswood. It is a fixed bridge that feeds through the top. See the ball ends there? And it's not a string through the back. But yeah, I was looking for something just to have to play, general purpose, you know, great shredding guitar that is also kind of a fun indie rocker at the same time. And that's really what I got. I mean, you get a lot of bang for your buck from this guitar. If you're a Kurt Cobain fan and you've looked at the hybrid guitar, his like signature hybrid guitar that's a Grand from the Japanese factory, that's a cool guitar. However, you can get so close with one of these to that same style and sound. This is definitely a great bang for the buck. Like I said, a little bit of setup work. It comes in cool colors. It comes in Olympic white, black, and I saw a special edition seafoam green floating around there. Honestly, I would buy one of these brand new for that price if I had sat down and had the experience I did. I was just plugging into an amp there at Guitar Center, and it really, immediately then, the playability, just the feel of this neck and the finish. And I'm not saying it's a perfect instrument. It's a budget instrument. I am going to swap the tuners. Digging around in some boxes, I found some American Standard tuners that I had kicking around from when I switched to lockers. So I'll switch to those for a little more stability. Sometimes they can get a little floaty, but honestly, now that the strings are upgraded from what comes from the factory, that's the first thing I have to stress. The 9-gauge strings from the factory have to be changed out, and it has to be set up properly. But that's the same thing that happens to any other guitar. But after that, you get a really great player. And checking out some of these demos, you have to admit, it sounds pretty dang good for what it is. Play this on stage against anything else. I just switched to the clean channel. So there's the bridge pickup. And here's the neck pickup. These are easily some of the best sounding stock pickups I've ever heard. I don't even want to change them because it takes away for me from the value proposition changing out a bunch of parts. Realistically, all I really want to change is the tuners. Eventually, I may upgrade the saddles on the bridge because they are a little cheap, but that's also not that big of a deal and doesn't affect my playability right now. If you're in any kind of punk, rock, indie, emo band, something like this is a perfect guitar. Better than a Tele or a Strat for most of your plugging into like a gain sound. I mean, I can even pull pretty cool blues off of this, you know. But yeah, and I can even play, you know, wild fuzzed out stuff. Like I have some fuzz pedals here. I'm just getting some kind of raunchy fuzzed out sounds. Yeah, it sounds massive. I mean, for 90 bucks used, 150 new, it really can't be beat. And it was a perfect guitar for me to just have around, general purpose, can play virtually any style. I wanted something that I didn't feel bad about, you know, banging into stuff or knocking over, just something that I can throw around, literally, that's fun. And I ended up really falling in love with this guitar. But check one out for yourself and tell me what you think, because I'm pretty impressed. Just the setup of these particular spec for that price is just nuts. So, thank you.